and good evening to today's panel discussion. Um, we are going to also be joined by other panelists shortly. For now, we have Advocate Deepak with us, who practices before the High Court of Karnataka, city civil and session courts, magistrate courts, family courts, and consumer forum, along with handling property registrations across Bangalore, Mysuru, and Hosur and other cities. So before we begin, a very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us
you
and being a part of today's discussion.
much.
We before we get into legal reforms and the hard questions, I'll quickly, introduce our audience to what today's topic is about. So we are talking about a difficult topic. It's an important issue as well, which is custodial deaths and accountability in India. Before we begin our discussion, before we begin with getting into the nitty-gritties, would you like to explain to our audience what custodial deaths are? What does the term actually mean?
All right. So now, when you look into this entire concept called custodial debts, this has a very deep root into it. Now, there's something called as accused and convict. There are two different things. There's a big difference between both of them. Now,
Right,
accused is a person where allegation has been made against him, and he'll only be called into the police station to question him or interrogate him or anything as such. And when it is a convicted person, all the allegations against him have been completely proved, and that is when he is convicted by the magistrate or judicial whatever, whoever the bench is at the end of the day. They may try them, and once he is convicted, he goes into custody. Now, when we talk only particularly with custodial deaths, all these factors come into picture. Now, assuming there's a case filed against me, the police issue out a notice. They first try giving us a call. The general procedure that happens, they give us a call telling, there's a case registered against you. We require you to come down to the police station. Now, generally, what happens? People don't understand. They panic as soon as you
right,
hear the word police itself. People start panicking because of the culture that the police use right now, right? So now, instead of panicking, people should actually have the way to ask the police the questions like, okay, if you're telling me there's an FIR lodged against me, why don't you share me the notice copy? Most of the places, this is the biggest blunder that happens in our country. Police take they misuse the innocence of our general public, and in order to extort them or create instill some fear in those people, they do whatever it takes at the end of the day. Now, let's not talk about corruption at all. That is a different thing altogether.
right.
So, including all these factors, now once the person is taken into custody, generally those people won't understand whether the offenses against them are bailable or non-bailable in nature,
Yeah,
whether they're cognizable by that particular police station,
right.
or what is the exact crime that they've committed. Now, if it is something like theft, robbery, most of the time it's bailable. It
Mhm.
depends upon how habitual the offender is at the end of the day.
Mm.
Now, looking into that perspective, if it is something, a crime where which is committed against the general public at the end of the day, when one particular person or a group of individuals commit a particular crime against the community and which endangers other people living in it, that is when those kind of matters become non-bailable, and those cognizance can be taken by the police, and they can, without a warrant as well, when they know for a fact that this person or this group, whosoever it may be, are dangerous, they can pull them in immediately.
Right, right.
Now,
So,
once, yeah,
yeah.
please.
So I was actually going to touch upon, the case that actually got us talking about custodial debts and kind of brought this into conversation, uh,
Yes,
which many people I think remember, which was the Benix and Jairaj case.
very
Um,
true. The latest one.
yes, very latest one, and there was a verdict recently where the policemen involved in that were actually sentenced. Um, so could you tell us a little bit about what happened in that case and why? this particular case became such a topic of conversation, and why the punishment that the policeman received was of that extent.
Okay, and now what happened back then in Tamil Nadu, Jairaj and Benix, both of them, father and son duo.
Yeah.
Now they used to run their own shop. All right, and it so happened that there was 144 implied on that day, that is curfew, which
Right.
was implied, and it is a general known fact that not more than three individuals can stand in a particular place once a curfew is done. And certain shops where liquor is sold or any other kind of shops where people might gather should not be kept open after a certain point of time. Now, it so happened that Jairaj and Benex were so involved in their work at the end of the day, they had to extend their work by another 10, 15 minutes at max. Now, looking at this, the police officers, the entire police authority, they started questioning him as to why are you doing all this nonsense. Now, on the record, there are many things framed that, they never abided by the law, they were into illegal activities and all such stuff. But off the record, it is also there that they were completely discriminating against those two. They never saw them just because they were vulnerable in nature. The police understood, okay, we can do whatever we want with these people and nobody's going to question us. Had it been some liquor store or some supermarket or something as such, the police authorities would have understood, okay, let us not touch base upon these people. End of the day, they're influential. Now,
Right.
just because these people didn't have anybody on their side, they thought, whatever we do, nobody is going to question us at the end of the day. Now, in the name of questioning, they got them down to the police station, and they had to go through a number of tortures, be it physically, mentally. They got harassed, they were called by names, including their family members and everything. Whilst all this happened, unbearable mental torture and physical torture led to the death of Jairaj and Beings.
Hmm.
Now, in order to cover this up, it wasn't just those nine police officers who were given death sentence right now. There's a huge army of police officers who try to cover them up for all these years. When one such incident happened, you can look in. Let's just come out of the topic for a second and let's look at this actor Darshan case that is happening in Karnataka right now.
Yeah.
It was a common man, whatever the grounds were for the murder and anything. The minute you got to know a man was murdered, you got to know the reason and you put them behind bars and the trial started.
Hmm.
And within 2 years, it's almost completed up to 65% of the entire case. Now, when you know there is a murder that has happened, you know what has to be done. And why did it take 6 years for you to compile all the evidence again to try those police officers? So, what do those police officers carry that kind of headweight that you don't want to try them? Nobody wants to look at the broader part of it, the higher authorities involved in this, the politics involved in all of this, because law is something that should be free from any kind of influence. At the end of the day, the judiciary should not be influenced by anyone.
Yeah.
What we set as rules is to be followed by us as well as every single individual that resides in this particular country, within the boundary of these countries. So once the deaths happened, the senior authorities were informed about it, and they're like, if this comes to light, it's gonna be a huge trouble for all of us, because the arrest itself was unauthorized at the end of the day. Now, when you find certain people in a curfew, when 144 has been implied and a curfew is going on, and you find certain people, the general rule is stated that you need to inform them that there is a curfew over here, because not everybody are literate. They would not understand what is happening outside. I still have many people whom I see on a daily basis still use normal basic mobile phones. They don't have access to smartphones. They still sit at their homes and listen to radio than watching television or anything as such. Now, such people, they're not aware of what happens. And to be honest, Jairaj and Benix both fell under that particular category. All right.
Right.
So they were not aware of the curfew or anything as such. They just wanted to live their life normally and run their daily business and be done, and end of the day go home and sleep, get rest, done. So they were not informed about the curfew, and they were literally dragged from the shop, put inside the vehicle, got to the station. And it is also been said, maybe a rumor or you never know, the police officers were challenging each other as to who is the more mightiest amongst us, who can give the best torture and everything. So each police officer took turns while torturing them, which is like very grievous in nature. This is
Yeah.
unacceptable at all.
Yeah.
So this is what happened in this entire case.
Right. And then, then let's talk about, in general, when we think about a police station, when we, even when it's a, I have some issue that, say, I need to file a complaint against something, there is a general fear amongst citizens to
Yes.
go to a police station or to go to a police to ask for help, uh, which kind of works in an opposite way, because uh, a police force in any country is supposed to be there to protect the citizens. They should be people who, to whom we go when we have a fear of something, or who are there to protect us from uh, things. But in a situation like this, it comes to a place where you're fearing the very organization that's supposed to protect you. So, can you walk me through, what what do we think about, custodial violence? Do you think it's only a few officers who are crossing the line, or do you think that this exists all across India in many stations and we just don't know about it? This case happened to, come to light, but do you know, or do you think that this exists deeper than we know?
Yes, to be honest enough, this is way too deep. That is why, initial conversation itself, I mentioned that if you take this entire topic of custodial death, the roots go way too deep. It starts off from the year 1950 itself, if I can recall. Yes, from the year 1950, be it DK Basu case, where the guidelines were laid out,
Right.
what has to be done during an arrest and everything. Now honestly, you go to any police station, none of the convicts or the accused who are detained are never showcased openly, and they're kept separately, where the cameras which have been installed to be monitored 24 by 7, those people aren't kept over there. They're kept in a separate place altogether. You visit any police, I'll just talk about our state Karnataka itself. Any police station you visit, you generally see the main building of the police station, which most of the times has the senior officers office residing over there as well, along with the station house officer. After this, you'll find a separate small room. It would be close to around 250 or 300 square feet, where none of them have access other than the police who are in Mufti, or more to be precise, the crime officers who are always in Mufti to figure out what is happening outside.
Mm.
Now, these accused, whoever are detained, they're generally taken back into that particular place, which I just mentioned right now. And God knows what happens to them inside. Now, one such case where I had been personally, one of my client, this was with respect to NDPS Act, and he was falsely accused in it. Right? He was set up for the entire thing. So it so happened around 1:30 a.m. in the morning, he was caught with certain so and so drugs in his possession. Now he was not aware of this, because the place he was residing, he that was his friend's place.
Right.
All right. And this position was found right under the bed where he was sleeping at that particular point of time.
Mm.
Now, the only question I raised to the police officers was like, this person does not even belong to this particular city. He resides in another city altogether, and he had come here to visit his friend. Now, on what grounds are you charging him of it? They're like, no, we have proper evidence that he has done so and so and so and reasons. Now, by the time I could go ahead and file for an anticipatory bail and ensure he's out of that, you won't believe me, his left ankle was broken,
Mm.
and he had 7 fractures right starting from here till here.
Yeah.
And the best part, you will never know that something as such has happened to the accused, because the kind of physical assault the police officer does on a particular human, or the accused himself, is so vigilant and so, I don't know how to term it exactly, that you never get to know until proper tests are done. And you would have seen, be it directly in courts or near police stations or in the news or elsewhere, when there are several accused of murder or any such related things, Most of the accused keep limping. They don't walk straight. They always have their hands holding their knees or something as such. Now, this is the kind of torture that they give so as to ensure that the magistrate or the judge does not know what has happened. Every time an accused is placed in front of the judge within 24 hours, the first question the judge always asks is, were you under any kind of wrongful treatment?
Hmm.
Now, what the police officers always do, once they physically assault and ensure that person is beaten down to his last breath, they keep asking him one particular question stating, if you want to live ahead, it's better you do not open your mouth in front of the judge. Now, without having that fear instilled into him, the police officers don't take them aside. For that, they always keep giving some of the other reasons, say, like, medical examination has been delayed. His family had to come, the advocates did something, they're stalling the presentation of the accused in front of the magistrate or the judge. It does not matter. None of the advocates tell the police officers, like, no, you keep my client inside the police station itself. Now, coming back to this custodial thing, once he's under detention, the biggest problem that arises, they snatch away all the kind of contacts available from him. The law itself provides you that once you're under detention, you have all the right to inform your first class of heads. In case you don't have a class 1 head, you can go to class 2. That is your uncle, aunt, whoever. In that case, you don't have both the class of heads, you always can reach out to an advocate, and it is your complete right to inform the police officer, whoever is investigating you, stating that I do not have the kind of resources or I do not have the contacts to get an advocate. So I would request you to get me an advocate from the district legal service authorities. There are advocates present for this. It is under our ethics. We do have to ensure when something wrong is going on, irrespective whether the person is wrong or right, is on a later stage. The person requires a representation. That is what the law says at the end of the day. You're not found guilty until you're guilty. You're never supposed to do that. So this is one thing the police officers always ensure is not done to any kind of person who is detained inside the police station. They ensure they strip him off. They ensure every single shred of his dignity is taken out, and they get some kind of wicked happiness in it, wicked pleasure in such matters. Due to which, this is the main reason why most of our general public are still date hesitant to go forward to a police station or report their crime or anything as such. And sometimes people take law in their own hands and things happen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you rightly mentioned, even if and there is enough evidence against an accused person in whatever matter they may be, and if that person is say detained, but still there are certain rights that are guaranteed to any person in our country, whether accused or not. And I mean, one of them being the right to life and personal liberty again under Article 21.
Yes.
So like when we talk about someone dying in police custody, it is a grave failure of our systems, because that is obviously not supposed to happen. So can you do you think that this system that is there in place, or how you were mentioning that even falsely accused till they're not even proven to be guilty, they are tortured in the police stations. Can we say that the state itself has failed in some way? The systems are failed in some way. Do you think that is what is happening?
All right. To be honest, it is us, the general public, who is making a mockery out of the entire system, and in turn, we are receiving the same.
Right.
Now, people need to understand what general laws are. We're not asking people to know what exactly is 307 of IPC, what
Yeah.
is the punishment, and what are the loopholes in it. None of us are asking general public to know about it. All you need to know is, if a police officer calls, stop pretending that you're scared of them.
Hmm.
Start questioning them. That is when they understand that, okay, this person, I can't play around with him.
Yeah.
not the question of you being influenced or not influenced at the end of the day. It's about the courage that you need to have to stand up and ask. If you have not done any mistake, I don't see any reason that you have to be scared of a police officer at the end of the day.
Correct.
Now it has been so so horrible that you need to go get a passport verification done.
Yeah.
You end up paying some or the other bribe to the police officer at the end of the day,
Correct.
without which they don't want to pass on any kind of thing. You want to give a complaint, you need to pay them something. Anything that you do, you need to pay them something. If that is the case, why can't the government or why can't the state increase their salaries at the end of the day, if that is their biggest issue? Now let's not, I don't want to touch upon the topic how police officers get transferred and they choose
Yeah.
a particular police station. That is a big time politics inside itself. So let's not touch base upon that. So coming back to this, general public need to know what is what at the end of the day. And if we look at how the state can do into this, now look into the general law. CCTV cameras are put up everywhere, but where exactly the accused is placed, none of them know. Even now, if any one single person, whoever is watching this or whoever knows about this, barges into a police station, we have all the rights under RTI to know what exactly is happening inside a police station, because end
Mhm.
of the day, we are the taxpayers and
Yeah.
we are the ones paying them the salaries of them. They work for us. They're public servants, right? So I can openly challenge any person, any police officer, to let one single public, any person at all, at random, to walk inside their police station and look at the CCTV footage and see what is happening. Let them just show them the past 2 or 3 hours of footage. Nobody wants to do that. Why? Okay, forget general public, that will become a nuisance altogether. Let the authorities have the common sense that, I am in this particular position. Let me take example of an assistant commissioner of police. Now this person, whoever it is, has 5 police stations under his jurisdiction. Now, every morning, than waking up and trying helping out the influential people in the society and filling his pockets, his main goddamn duty is to understand that there are 5 police stations under me. What are the cases happening over there? How are these police officers treating those cases? Are the people getting the justice or not? Instead,
Yeah.
these people are more busy into solving civil disputes, which they don't have any kind of rights to enter. When
Correct.
husband and wife have fought, either the husband or the wife was a bit influential in terms of finance or political background or anything as such, whatever person they are in the society, they put that upon the police officer and they bribe them and they sit back and do these kind of things. Murders or any kind of criminal activities are being delayed day by day, and we need not look into the ratio of the general public to a judicial servant at the end of the day. That is the major reason why most of the cases are delayed, be it criminal litigation or civil litigation. You enter into a property stuff, you need minimum 25-30 years to solve your dispute and walk out at the end of the day. And the same is happening, which is very sad in nature, that even a criminal trial which is supposed to be done within 6 months or 1 year is taking up to 5 or 10 years right now. Now, there is also one case that has happened in Tamil Nadu. Today afternoon, I just happened to be with my friend. We had just gone out, and I was telling him that, I'd be having a panel discussion today
Yeah.
about custodial deaths. So he just happened to mention me in Madurai. I forgot the person's name. So in a temple, there was this security guard, and one lady walks in. So she didn't have the place to park the vehicle. So she hands a vehicle key to the security guard, asks him like, can you please park it for me? And he happily does that. Like end of the day, I'm here from years together. He is in the temple for the past 15 years or more than that. Now it so happened he went, parked the vehicle, came back, and once this female finished her temple darshan and everything, she came out, took the vehicle. She traveled for 2 or 3 kilometers, and I'm precise, 2 or 3 kilometers, and later realized the fact that she does not have jewels in her vehicle.
Okay.
And she started claiming that I had lakhs and crores of rupees of jewels kept in the vehicle and the security guard has stole it. This security guard was the same person who got the vehicle back, handed it over to her, and he was sitting in the same position right from the time this female left the place.
Hmm.
Now, it so happens she herself has close to around 50 or 60 cases filed against her, and she's very influential in the Tamil Nadu politics. with the previous government, to be more precise. And she ended up filing an FIR on that guy, and he was arrested. Now comes the bigger picture. The general police officers, the civil police officers, captured this guy, got him to the station, and started questioning him.
Okay.
But overnight, the special task force unit came into picture, and they literally assaulted him left, right, and center. And by next day morning, this person is dead. This is a real case. All of us
Yeah,
only know about Jairaj and Benex, but nobody knows the ongoing trial of this. And
correct.
it has been another, this happened in 2025,
Yeah,
not too far.
like I
Right.
mentioned earlier, also, we know about one case and that became national news and everyone spoke about it. But I am sure there are many such cases that are
Close
there
to around 11,000 reported till date.
reported. We
Yes.
don't know if there are,
That would
we don't
be
know
10 or
if,
100 times of it. You never
yeah,
know that.
yeah. Like you mentioned the case to me, I don't know whether it's been reported, whether you are aware through a personal, source
No,
that told
it
you.
is there all over the news as well.
Okay.
It is actually there all over the news, and CBI has actually put a charge sheet
Okay.
against 6 police officers of that
Okay.
special task force, and it's still going on. So
Right.
that is why I don't want to discuss about a
Yeah.
case which is in trial.
Yeah.
We are not supposed to do that. I think
Yeah.
that's the
But
thing.
yeah, and I think you correctly mentioned in the beginning when we were talking about the fact that I think a lot of times police officers take advantage of the fact that citizens don't know their rights. They don't know what rights they have, and an advantage is taken of that fact. And obviously, there is a fear amongst everyone that if police is involved, uh, they have a power to do certain things. But when we talk about ordinary citizens, even our audience who's watching this, say someone is arrested, what rights do they have? And I know that the first 24 hours are quite crucial in what can be done, what can't be done. So, can you walk us through, hypothetically, if a person's arrested, what are the rights they have in the first initial few hours that they are in custody?
Okay, we step into that first thing, the person, whoever receives that call or the police officer approaches that person. So let me just take myself as an example now. Assuming a notice is issued to me, or a police officer approaches me or gives me a call and states, there's an FIR filed against you and you're under arrest, or you need to come down to the police station, or anything as such, any such related stuff. The first and foremost question any person has to ask is, what is the offense exactly? Irrespective whether I know I've committed the crime or not is secondary. That is on the
Okay.
other hand. First, need to know whether the offense is bailable or not bailable, whether it is cognizable by the police officers or non-cognizable. They need to understand this broader picture, because the entire case falls over there itself. As I earlier mentioned, the minute you get a police station call, like, hi, I'm so and so officer calling from this police station, most of them just drop on their knees immediately, and
Right.
their mind just goes to that panic state out of nowhere.
Right.
Instead, what I urge everybody is, stay calm and just hear out what the other person has to say. No police officer immediately calls up and starts abusive language or any as such stuff. Once they are talking, it's our right to make them understand, and it's our right to know what is it against us, because we can't be called out of nowhere for any such reason. So first is this. Second, you approach the police station, you need to, because end of the day they're a public servant and it's a
Yeah.
government authority. They
Yeah.
don't fall under the government or anything as such. It's a separate body, just like the judiciary. They don't have to work for the government. Right. So go down over there, meet whoever the person is, whoever is in charge of the investigation. Generally, we call them as an IO,
Yeah.
investigating officer. Right. So go approach your IO and ask them, what is this exactly? Figure out whether it is an NCR done or is it an FIR done. Now, when there is something called as NCR, that is a non-cognizable report, you don't have to panic at all, because NCRs are only done to call down the particular person, make them understand the law, and tell them that if you commit this particular thing again, you will be under trouble. And NCR will be stored for a longer period of time, especially after BNSS came through. It is not anything like before that, you just write on a paper and keep it separately and you tear it down or anything. Everything is digitalized now. If there is a crime committed in Karnataka, I go sit in Delhi. The police officers then can pull out my records as well, irrespective wherever I go. All right. So if it is an NCR done, what under what grounds has the NCR been done? Why is it that there's a complaint registered against you? Figure out if it is normal civil related issues. The police are not even supposed to do that. Just tell them this is a civil dispute, I'll handle it in the court. You don't have any kind of rights to look over it.
Right.
Unless if it is a civil matter where any kind of physical assaults have been done or any verbal abuses have been done by either of the party, it doesn't matter who it is exactly. So once that is done, then yes, that turns into a crime. So what I'm trying to say is figure out if you have committed a crime and only then accept the charges and tell them that I need to contact my advocate.
Right.
Until then, ensure they don't take any kind of cognizance on you. They will lure you into giving some statements or anything as such. I just want to let everybody know any statement made to any kind of police officer, even though it is digitalized, I mean, video recorded or recorded through audio, or you have given it in writing and you have signed, kept your thumb impression, is not acceptable in any court of law. You can't make any kind of statements or you can't confess anything to a police officer without the presence of a magistrate. Whatever it is, you have to do it over there. That is the third thing. Then coming down, understand if it is not an NCR, you need to figure out if it is an FIR. If the FIR has been lodged, find out what exactly is the crime, because once you look into the FIR, this is where most of them fall down. As soon as you hear the term there's an FIR registered against you, you are done. You're on your knees thinking that I'll be arrested right now. There's no point, I can't do anything or anything as such. So from there on, you need to contact your advocate, or you tell them that I need some legal service, I need the legal team or a panel, someone who can look into my case over here. And it is the right, or I mean it is your right, and it is duty of that particular police officer to ensure whatever you need is provided to you. And if it is case of women, it is already known, post 6 p.m you're not supposed to be called into the station or detained over there. It so happened recently in, I guess, in Madhya Pradesh High Court or Delhi High Court, I'm not sure. One entire police station was suspended for the same reason, that they called a female into the police station post 6 p.m. Not 6 p.m. Sorry,
Is that
early morning
right? I
4:30.
think. Yeah, 4 a.m. I think I saw
Yes,
that on the news. Yeah.
yes. It's at 4:30 a.m. in the
Yeah.
morning, and
Yeah.
they didn't have any kind of rights doing that.
Mm.
Irrespective of female officer was there or not, a secondary. You can't barge into a place and get a woman at that particular point of time.
Yeah.
So these are some basic things people need to know before getting into a police station, or fearing that something might happen. You don't have to fear them. End of the day,
Right.
that is
And
where
even if, say, you are held in a police station, does a citizen have a right to contact uh, someone, if maybe from their family, or if they have a lawyer on call, can they have the right to
absolutely they
have
have
the
complete rights over it, because
yeah.
Article 21 guarantee, Article 14, 19, 21, the golden triangle, that is where this entire thing comes and falls into the picture at the end of the day. You have right to contact, because your immediate, as I mentioned earlier, your class 1 or class 2 legal has need to know what is happening if you're getting detained, because you need legal help. Irrespective of the offense that is there against you, doesn't matter at the end of the day. You need to ensure somebody is informed about that person. If not, custodial deaths happen, and that is where no one gets any kind of evidence at all. Now, if
Correct.
you look in the case of Jairaj, their family members never knew why they were in the police station, and until the bodies were produced to them, they never knew that Jairaj and Benik are dead.
Right.
Nobody informed the family members at all.
They just assume they were still arrested.
Exactly. And these police officers don't even allow the family members to step inside
Mm.
and look at their people, and they keep stating that you don't have the required permission or anything. This is not the prison. If you're inside the
Correct.
prison, you need to get the required permissions from the station officer, from the court, get an order, and
Yeah.
then go visit. You'll have your visitation rights. But for a police station, there's nothing as such. You can go
Yeah.
walk in as long as your people are there inside.
Yeah. And is there some, I am sure there is some rule against how long you can keep a person in the police station's custody, right? Because
Yes.
ultimately they need to be charged with something and then shifted to a prison.
Yes. Now coming to that picture, it's a deeper conversation again.
Right.
Now, general rule is within 24 hours you need to produce them in front of the magistrate.
Hmm.
Now it so happens if you take this May month, it is court vacations
Yeah.
usually. So most of the time magistrates are not available. You
Hmm.
can't blame them as well. It's this is
Yeah.
the only time they get their own family time or anything as such. Now assuming okay, let me give you a live example itself. Right now, once I'm done with this, I need to run out to a police station because one of my client is detained over there, and
Okay.
because they're not letting them go out. Irrespective, I've already filed for a bail application, which I did 2 days back. And even after informing the police officer that none of them are non-bailable offenses, they're all bailable, you can let him go by taking any kind of signature or taking an assurance that he'll cooperate with the investigation, which none of us are denying at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, it so happens that he is not ready to let go of them, and this is just a property issue
Right.
which is
Right.
being turned into a crime. This is a live example to whoever is watching. You
Yeah.
know, when once a civil matter is included, it is a fight between two brothers, a elder one and a younger one. They're fighting over a property sale, and the younger brother went ahead and filed an FIR by bribing the cops, by ensuring the police station knows what he is and everything. The matter of fact is that the younger brother who has filed the case is a credit card defaulter, and he around 17 banks, including nationalized banks, are searching for him. Yet he's still freely roaming around. Now, what example is what example are the police trying to set outside?
Yeah.
The court has issued order to arrest this person and come, and they have also gotten red corner notice against this person so that he doesn't flee the country at
Yeah.
any cost. But this person is roaming around freely, and he enters into a police station and sits, relaxes over there in such a way that he owns the entire place, whereas in that particular police station he has 17 cases filed against him, and
Yeah.
still the police officers are not arresting him. this
Right.
this how dirty and rubbish the police department has happened at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean. That was going to be my kind of next question and next thing that we talk about is that I don't think all citizens experience policing equally, right? Like you mentioned, a person of a certain status, certain, if they come from influential places, then they are not treated equally. But people who say don't have enough money, or they come from backgrounds which they are not that aware, they are treated differently.
Yes.
So I'm sure in your experiences also you must have seen what you just mentioned also was a good example of what I'm just saying.
So
um,
in that case, okay, you can complete. I'll get back to it.
no, I was done. I was actually going to go ahead to some other topic, but you can we can touch upon what you were saying for this.
Okay, so in this, what happens? I wouldn't say the 100% of the police department is into corruption
Yeah.
altogether. There are still many sincere officers who want to give justice to people.
Yeah.
Now, it so happens that assuming I'm the police officer, my colleagues are not good at the end of the day, and because I am trying to do justice, and the other colleagues of mine, they are into whatever kind of corruption or any kind of other works. They are seeing promotions, they are going better in life, but I am stuck at the same position. Now if I enter as a constable of the first rank or with no rank at all, and I want to do justice, I end up my entire life until I'm retired at the age of 60. I'll still remain as a ground level person itself. I don't
Right.
see even a single rank above that. Whereas a person would have joined along with me in the same rank, and within 5 years he would have reached to the position of a station house officer itself, and that
Hmm.
is not an easy task. And from there, in the next 5 years, he would have reached till the position of an assistant commissioner or a deputy commissioner of police, and goes ahead and becomes a commissioner or the inspector general of police. This is how they go and reach at the end of the day. Now, I don't want to blame the entire police department, but due to it's that same old apple story. You keep one rotten apple with 10 good apples. You can't expect the other nine apples to be
Correct.
like whatever they are. End of the day. Now, when it comes to the question of general public not getting justice and only the influentials one getting justice, now that is the reason I stated the public need not fear the police authorities at any cost. End of the day, one thing everybody need to get in their mind: it is you who is paying them at
Yeah.
the end of the day. You look at that perspective. I'll be very open enough. You own them, right? Those people are there to serve you at the end of the day. Any
Yeah.
kind of trouble you fall into, it is them who has to approach you and ensure you're safe and everything as such. Now, when we look at some criminal disputes itself, it is generally the state versus that particular person.
Correct.
Now, why is it always the state? Nobody wants to understand why is it that the state is representing a victim at the end of the day. Why is it not that the victim never had any kind of resources to fight the case, or never had any legal representation to do anything as such? Now, on papers you want to show that the state is very concerned about you. And why the state gets involved? It is because the criminal psychology states it very clearly that any kind of crime, any act committed against another person which endangers the person and in turn sets an example to other people, which is not good in nature, generally at that particular point of time the state gets involved. That is when the state takes cognizance, and the state represented by so and so police station try the entire case against the accused at the end of the day. Now, when you want to be so good on books, why not actually do it in real? If you're
Yeah.
so concerned, you are having a public prosecutor or a special public prosecutor run the case on behalf of you. And over there as well, even though the public prosecutors know that the police department is at fault, end of the day he tries to defend them. I wouldn't blame the public prosecutor, because that shows what kind of good advocate is he. Even though you're guilty, yeah, I'll fight till the last breath of mine to ensure you get justice, or I ensure you came to me for some particular reason and I'm gonna fulfill it. Now, if you're gonna do that, who is gonna look at the actual justice to be served? Nobody wants to understand that. Only from recent days is where certain rape cases, let me be more precise, in certain rape cases, the actual accused are being convicted and there are strict punishments being taken against them. If you look at West Bengal, no one cared about the women who died. Why is it in that way? So until it reaches national media and everybody gets to know about it, you don't want to take any kind of cognizance against it. Why is it? And right after lockdown, it so happened in UP. I think it was the Hathras rape case. Right? The
Yeah.
police officers were so deeply involved in covering the girl's body and ensuring those people who were involved are free. They
Yeah.
let go free, and they're like, kuch nahi hua, nothing happened to me at all. I'm all free. So what I'm trying to convey, not that the police department is completely wrong or something as such, but majority of them is the same. And for
Yeah.
this to be done, now if I come back to our main topic of custodial deaths, now in that manner, this is the whole and sole reason of this entire thing happening is corruption and the display of power, abuse
Yeah.
of your power.
Yeah.
Now, you're not able to showcase your power where you actually have to, and you're getting strong armed by the ones you have to show your power to, and you're just taking that frustration out over here. Your senior officer tells you something or slams you with something, or slams you for not getting a case done properly. You come with that frustration and post 9 p.m. in the night. I'll be very specific about this. None of the police brutality happens in the daylight. It's always once the sun sets and once everybody are peacefully at their homes sleeping or doing any other kind of work, because that is the time a person is most vulnerable. That is the time when a human's body is vulnerable in nature, because entire day you're awake and you need rest at particular point, and that 8 hours these police ensure you are vandalized completely,
Yeah.
that nobody gets to know what happened exactly. Now, for reforms or anything to be done on this, I would actually want the state. Now, the CCTV footage or whatever it is, generally the DVR is 60 to 90 days. Nobody follows 19, nobody follows 60 as well. Hardly it's 30 days at max. This is the ground reality. And most of the cameras don't even work.
Mm.
Is just show project that the small light is being shown out, but the camera doesn't work. And most of the corruption, most of the bribe exchanges openly happen inside the police station itself. People see it, yet nobody wants to take an action over it. And once somebody tries to take an action over it, the person who tries to take an action is bribed so well that they end up dropping the entire case itself, and nobody gets a legal standing at all. Now, how we have the body cam systems, which are recently introduced in India as well. I mean, it's not 100% applicable yet. But if you look at USA, and if you especially look at the New York Police Department, NYPD, there are many series on them, or
Yeah.
they release the body cam footages to the public itself. Now,
Yeah.
my question is, why, when they can do it, they're also humans at the end of the day. They also follow a particular kind of law. When you're detaining a particular individual, and I mean, who's an accused at the end of the day, you know that he is abusive or very impulsive in nature, and you can't strong arm them. You need to use certain force of action.
Yeah.
Here in India, what happens generally, they have these lathis or any PVC pipes or something, which gives you immense pain but ensures there's no mark left behind.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing that the police have in their mind, that no matter what I do, I know I can inflict pain into this person, but he can't prove it in daylight.
Mm.
Reason being, the medical examination is done even before they take him into the custody, and they keep that particular medical examination until the entire goddamn trial is over. Now,
Mm.
what happens in between this? Nobody wants to know about it. And when the particular accused demands for another medical examination, these police officers turn it down, stating he's vague in nature, he's a mentally retarded person. Some of the other nonsense reasons are given at the end of the day, and ensure that person doesn't get any rights that is required.
Right.
Coming back to this one, those body cam footages, it's available to the entire general public irrespective of any country. You go to YouTube, you can start searching
Yeah.
for real NYPD body cam footage.
Yeah.
Here in India, what is happening, police do wear the body cam footages, but it's never turned on. So for what joy do you get that body cam? Is it to just display it around so that it looks cool on your body, or first of all, you don't maintain your physique, what you need to be as a police officer, you don't have that. God knows what you have done to come into that place at the first place, and you don't know how to treat a accused person. And most of the time, I've been observing this from the past 6 or 7 years, the police most of the time don't even know what section they have to invoke on a particular accused. They just understand a thing. Now, assuming a girl has been eve teased by a guy. Now, I'm not saying it's a very good crime. I mean, it's a lenient crime or something. It is very vague in nature, because eve teasing goes down to something really worst at the end of the day. But there are officers who have invoked 374 for eve teasing. Now, why do you have to do that? Yes, we do accept what he's done is not good. He deserves to be punished, but not in a way that, it doesn't even imply.
Yeah.
Why do you have to invoke some section? Are you even aware of the fact what you are filing against a particular person at the end of the day? You don't want to understand that. So where are you having the knowledge of law? If you yourself don't have it, then how do you even sit in a particular position? How are you even going to give justice?
Correct.
Right? Nobody in the entire state, in the entire government or the system understands this particular thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least the public prosecutors have to understand that, whatever sections have been invoked, is it actually right for the entire thing? And moreover, when an FIR is done, most of the time the stories are cooked. They
Mm.
ensure an FIR is done in such a way where at least 6 to 7 sections are invoked, right? In which two or three are bailable and the rest are non-bailable. Now they put that person in such a situation, they start demanding something from him, like, see, this is what it is. If we can sit down and discuss over this, we can get over with it. And end of the day, what does a person, a man or a woman, whoever is like, ये लफड़ा मुझे नहीं चाहिए at the end of the day.
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
okay, if it is about me giving something and getting done with it, then let it be. At least I'm gonna be free from the entire thing. But is there any guarantee that you're gonna actually be free?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Police officer can turn back, invoke that entire thing all over again. And what is the point in you doing anything?
Correct. Correct. So, as we, kind of come to closing this discussion, a long back, very long back, India had signed a UN convention
Yes.
against torture in 1997. But we still don't have any standalone anti-torture law in our country yet. Um, do you think that this is something that should be there, and do you think it would be the solution to this? What are your kind of thoughts on this whole
See,
thing?
just getting an anti-torture law, if a laws of such kind is passed, I don't think it's gonna work. Reason being, you already have something called as Prevention of Corruption Act, but
Yeah,
I don't see the prevention of corruption being done
correct,
anywhere in the
correct.
country. Morning you wake up until you sleep in the night, you are into corruption one or the other way.
Yeah,
So in that case, I don't see any kind of use of getting a torture related law into picture. Than that, what I would look into is that the judiciary gives a direct order. The Supreme Court gives a direct order stating any and every police officer needs to have their body cams on right from the time they sign into the duty in the morning or afternoon or night, whatever the shift is. Once they sign in, they need to have it on throughout the day.
yeah,
And if they are going into a particular place and if their body cam is not working, it is completely upon them, because there is a device on you and you need to know it should be 100%
yeah,
charged.
correct.
You know to carry two or three different mobile phones along with you, and you need power banks or backups for the same, and you have the energy and capacity to carry all of that. So why can't you have this? If at all a question arises from the police department that battery goes away, it
Yeah,
fails entire day, we can't wear it or anything else, it's just a 200 or 250 gram device that will be there on your body. It's gonna save you as well for any kind of false accusations done by
yes,
others,
yeah, yeah,
and it's gonna help the general public have the actual justice. Even though we'll have to introduce video evidence under 65B, there's no other option. But end of the day, it is admissible in court.
correct, correct.
At least we'll get a clear picture from the person's point of view
Yeah, yeah,
than somebody recording it somewhere. So first thing is this. Second, the police officers need to be accountable for every single complaint or anything that has been registered in the police station, and this has to be looked upon by the senior authorities on a regular basis. When I say regular basis, at least weekly once.
hmm.
Now, you know for a fact you entered into this particular police department knowing you're not gonna have the luxury of taking leaves or going on vacations whenever you want. After knowing this completely is when you sign in to become a police officer at the end of the day. So when you've entered into it, it's your goddamn duty to understand. You need to follow the rules and procedures at the end of the day. What are you appointed for? What is the duty of an station head officer, station house officer? To look upon the other double star officers inside the police station, what are the cases that have come inside, what is the course of action being taken by them,
Yeah.
and were they able to solve it inside the police station itself, or have they registered an FIR, what is the next course of action. This person has to ensure all this has been taken care of. And the one above him, that is the assistant commissioner of police, needs to call a weekly one-on-one meeting, sit across with every single cases and ensure what has been done and not. And every now and then there should be surprise visits done to the police stations, not during the daytime but in the night.
Yeah.
Once that happens, and the ones who are giving a surprise visit also needs to have a body cam on their body,
Mm.
because you never know if that person who goes in is also involved with another person.
Correct.
If you take the classic example of Jairaj, the senior authorities were also involved in the particular case.
Right.
Even though they were set up over there to, investigate the entire thing,
Right. Right.
they ended up colluding with each other. Right?
Correct.
So, in the same way, these police officers, whoever go down to look into the entire fact, they have to have their body cams on all the time and ensure those are reported. If they find some of the other, non-activity or anything as such, whichever activity is not supposed to be happening inside the police station, you look it through your eyes. It is obviously recorded over there, and you're supposed to report it immediately. And if anything is found deleted without prior knowledge, then it means you have done something and you need to be
Right.
accountable for the same.
Correct. Correct. I
So I
think
wouldn't say any kind of laws being passed is gonna
yeah.
help at the end of the day. That is the factual reality.
I agree. Just because it's a law doesn't mean it should be
Doesn't
followed
work.
necessarily.
Even though we have the strictest punishment for the
Yeah.
most grievous crimes, still people end up doing such
Yeah.
crimes.
Yeah. But I think what suggestions you're giving are very practical suggestions and will lead to reduction in such crimes, I am sure. Um, we are coming to the end of our discussion, sir. I'm very, I mean, unfortunately, the other panelists could not join us today, but I would really like to thank you for, taking up. This was supposed to be a 3, 4 people panel,
Yes.
and the questions were supposed to be taken by everyone, but I would like to thank you for, kind of taking up and answering each and every question that we had today. And
No.
it was a very interesting discussion. Thank you so much for all your insights. And to people who are watching, I would just like to tell them that you need to, like we had a discussion, you have to know why you're arrested. You have the right to inform your friends or your family, and you have right to legal representation. Like Advocate Deepak mentioned, you don't need to be scared of the police. You have rights, and if you know them, then you will be in a good position, and you will safeguard yourselves from any such situations, and you cannot be subjected to unlawful force or abuse. So, like we have been saying again and again, awareness is important, and that is what is the first step towards your protection. And with that, I would like to conclude today's discussion. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. It was delightful. The topic was not delightful. It was delightful for me to have a conversation with you. But thank you so much. It was a really important discussion to be had. And I'm sure our viewers also learned a lot from this discussion. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for sharing your personal, experiences as well. Those were also really insightful. Once again, thank you and good evening to everyone. I will see everyone in our next panel discussion. Thank you so much, sir.